The show is about to start. Places. The show is about to start. You have to show a look, have a look, or give a look. Faces. Beautiful. No one ugly allowed. Are you ready? Here we go. Fashion is the art. Designers are the gods. Models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you would ever dare to go against that beauty is a trade and everyone is paid? Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? New York, London, Paris, Milan, Tokyo. I think it's in Japan. Asia, Malaysia, Las Vegas to play. LA, if you pay my way. Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. She's got it all. A symbol of excellence. She's got it all. She's got it all. All the elements, a symbol of excellence. Shining, she is so flawless, incredible illusionist. Miss Gay America. Miss Gay America. The best of the best. She is beauty, she is grace. Perfect in every way. This gay America.
Good evening out there in virtual Facebook land. It is your girl, Morgan, the queen so nice. They named her thrice, but also your anchor of excellence. Welcome this evening. I have a very special edition tonight. I am so excited to have these two guests come on for you tonight and get to know them a little more on a personal level. I have the fabulous cat maker herself, the stylish wig maker herself, Sunny Delights here, Sonia Diaz. And we also have Aaliyah's Closet. We have Christopher here to give us the dish on all that sparkles, which we will get to very shortly. I'm so excited tonight. I've been keeping an eye on them on social media. They are fabulous, and I know you all are as well, so please don't say that you don't, because you know who they are. So I'm going to bring them on immediately so they can introduce themselves, but also let's get into it and let's see if we can dig in a little deeper and get to know these two a little bit more. Also, if you're just joining us for the first time, please hit that share button. The more people that we have joined on, the more we can have them fall in love with these two guests that I have on tonight. All right, so without further ado, ladies first, I'm going to bring on my girl, Miss Sonia Diaz. Hello, gorgeous. How are you tonight?
Hi, Morgan. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi, everybody.
You look absolutely stunning. I'm a vision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm going to bring Christopher on real quick, too. I don't want him to feel left out at all as well, okay?
No, of course.
Hello there.
Hey there.
Hello as well. I love your background. What's your background?
It is, I'm in my dining room. This is my koi wallpaper.
Oh, that's like a real, that's your real back. That's what you're,
yeah.
So, okay, we decorate. Okay. As I have my black or my white wall here. I can't with myself. And then Miss Sunny Delight's background is looking
And
great.
we have the live feed background. So we're promoting, like we do.
As we do. Well, thank you to the two of you for joining me tonight. I know you are busy pounding the pavements and selling merchandise and just keeping fresh on social media. So I appreciate your time. Why don't you do me a favor and just introduce yourselves to the viewers at home and maybe title that you have or had as well. And a little fun fact about yourself, if that's okay. Sonia, can I start with you, my love?
Sure. So I'm Sunny Delight. I'm the owner and curator of Delight Designs Hair. I've also pageant contestant, pageant competitor, pageant fan, drag fan, and showgirl on the go. So I'm also a former Miss Continental, former Entertainer of the Year, former All American Goddess, and Renaissance and Sweetheart.
Well, just a couple titles.
Just a couple of titles there.
I love that. Christopher?
Yes, I'm Chris in drag Aaliyah, and I'm the owner of the drag accessories line, Aaliyah's Closet, and also the jeweler for Miss Gay America now.
Yes, congratulations for that. All the sparkles, and also the maker of the Anchor of Excellence pin. And I know you can see it. There she is. Well, keep on following me as well. You're going to see my Anchors of Excellence pin from Aaliyah's Closet. So thank you for making it for me. So the two of you, I know you're busy, but Sonia, I'm going to start with you. Why don't we talk a little bit about you as Sonia, if that's okay? So where are you from originally?
Born and raised Miami, Florida. Moved on to Chicago, then moved to New York, and I've been in Jacksonville now for 12 years. Jacksonville, Florida.
And have you always worked with hair, or is that something that came on years later?
Actually, it came through just trying to find what I needed, and I wasn't seeing what I needed in what was available. And so I just started. My girlfriend taught me how to sew hair, and I started sewing hair, and then I started showing up to the clubs, and people started saying, "Oh, I love that hair that you have." So then I started traveling with a little bag of hair, and then during the pandemic, when everything went, black for everybody, and it was a time where you had to figure out what to do, and everybody was doing their at-home drag show. I had already gone live several times, selling hair, and it had worked. So I thought, well, why not actually offer people something that they can actually keep for when we open again? And it worked. It snowballed. From that, it's now been, almost 6 years into the company, and we have only been growing, adding more product. We have a manufactured line. We have the hand-sewn line. We are working on updos. We have coney ponies. We have volley falls. We have upsy doozies. So we're always working on something new. It's the kind of market that we always want to be expanding on, because as we know, the times are always changing, and we want to be relevant to what's going on out there.
Sure. So, so you lived in Florida for your younger years.
Oh, yeah.
When did you move to Chicago?
I moved to Chicago in '99, and I was there till 2002. I loved the city feel. I was lucky enough to work with some of the best at the Baton Show Lounge in Chicago, with Mimi Cezanne and Monica and Victoria LePage and Sherry Payne and Chili Pepper. And it was such a learning experience for someone who had only done a handful of drag numbers. But I did know that I had a passion for the craft and for also Continental. And of course, Jim Flint saw a lot in me and had me almost every weekend terrified out of my mind.
and he's a doll too, Jim Flint.
Opened so many doors for so many people.
I actually had a wonderful conversation with all the title holders. I call them the reigning court of the Continental pageant season this year, and it's just I learned a lot. I did, because I do a lot with the Miss Gay America system, but my eyes were opened a little bit more with the Continental divisions as well. I couldn't believe that Jim Flint has 6 different divisions, and it's all focused on different types as well. So it's a space for everyone, which I think is really cool. So when did you start getting into performing? At what age?
Very early on. I started off actually as a club kid in South Beach, and that's where the name came from. A lot of people still see the name and say Sunny Delight. That doesn't really, well, it kind of does. But when I started, I used to dress in all yellow and orange and very club kid type look, and started performing pretty early on, but never really took it as a serious profession until much later. And I actually, after living in Chicago, left the stage for about 7 to 8 years, and couldn't live off of stage. Like, it was something that I had to do. So I came back, and I haven't stopped since. So since 2006, excuse me, when I came back to the stage, it's been a nonstop, just what can I do next? What can I do next? How can I improve what I've already done? How can I learn? How can I grow? And that's kind of been the career path. Sure. But the passion was always there, and having that void for the 7 years or not 7 years, but it was like 5 years, 6 years. Having that void really showed me how much I loved it. So therefore, that made the passion that was stronger when I came back to it. And that's where the drive is.
What's your style of performing? Like, what's your go-to, like, where you feel most, I mean, I'm sure you love the stage, but what's like your most comfortable style of show that you do?
You always see, regardless of what you're seeing in the number, you'll always see Sonia in there, and Sonia is very engaging. Sonia is very like I always connect. So you'll never see, no matter how many times you see a number, you know, a lot of the times you'll come to a similar bra and you'll see a number that you've seen before. You'll always get a different experience with me because I connect with the audience on a one-on-one basis. I love that connection of it. But my go-to share, I do it like in my sleep. That's kind of what I love, and I live and breathe her. As where a lot of people, there's a lot of characteristics. I kind of like, I've watched her for so long, and I've always loved her. So I feel like I just do it rather than like actually think about it a lot of the times about what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And if you go onto your website, I believe you do have a share style wig as well. Just saying for the viewers at home.
Definitely. You've got definitely many share options and looks. You have the turn back time, you have the believe hair, you have the side part, you have the classic. So you definitely have the different options. You have all the share covered. Even the share along, if you just want a classic share bob, you can carry that.
And why
Oh my
not?
God.
Just get them all as a bundle. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Here I go. So, okay. So Chris,
Yes.
let's jump over to you real quick. So where are you from originally?
So I was born in Atlanta, but I grew up like 20 minutes south of Atlanta in a town called McDonough.
Okay.
At that time, it was like dirt roads, very small. Yeah.
And then, so where are you at right now?
So now I live in Marietta. It's like 15 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. All right. So you're kind of Atlanta born and raised.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I was hearing a little accent, but I wasn't sure when I said that wonderful, sweet Southern accent.
Yeah. It's a little bit thicker if I've had a few cocktails.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Hopefully I'll be able to hear that, because I believe the Esquire pageant is going to be in Kansas City on, I believe, May 1st. So we'll maybe get to see you there. I know that you do jewelry. That's a wonderful craft, but you also perform as well, correct?
I did perform. I have not performed since July. So
Okay.
I'm kind of just taking a little break, and, you know, with the workload of America and everything, I'm really glad I did. So,
yeah.
But you know, there's something about being on stage and entertaining and filling the gig that definitely, you know, you have to revisit.
Sure. So in Atlanta, growing up, were you more into the theaters? Were you more into sports? Like, what was your vibe as growing up?
Yeah. So I was like in chorus for a long time, and a singer and a country singer for a while. And then in high school, I got put into a theater class on an accident, just as I think they didn't have chorus available. So I did theater, and I ended up loving it. And I feel like that kind of I'd always wanted to do drag. And I started kind of doing drag really I realized that, I can dress up and I can get into a bar underage. And so that's what I did on the weekends. Is I was doing professional theater in Atlanta. And I met some queens at the show, and I realized, I can get dressed up, use someone else's ID, and I could go in and enjoy myself and have a good time. So I would tell my parents that I was just out with the cast and stuff like that, but really I was turning it drag.
Having a good old time. Love that.
Ain't that the way?
You know what? We all have our fun times, right? That we can all dish about. So when did you start getting into jewelry?
So 2009 is when I started.
Okay.
And I've always just been the kind of person where if there's something that I like drag or really any hobby, I'm like, how do I turn this into a business?
Mm-hmm.
And so just really from the very beginning, I was not a big jewelry wearer. I didn't really wear a lot of jewelry, but you know, I liked the girls that did. But I was just, you know, just a young kid, so I didn't really get into all of the big jewelry, but I respected it. And so yeah, I really started to make jewelry not really for myself, but planning for it to be a business.
Do you know what I love about what I love about the both of you? Many things, but what I've been seeing with your social medias, the both of you are so polished when it comes to presenting your products. And it's just, it shows the labor of love. It shows your labor of love. And it's really cool to see, like with Sonia, you just always are displaying this beautiful thing. And don't you go live and stuff as well to describe your
I used to do the live feeds every single week, of course, with, you know, times changing the way that they had, and people's attention span has really like slimmed down on the lengthier process. So we find now that the reels and the quick moments of showcasing the product is much more effective, rather than, you know, the way it was during COVID when everybody was home. So, but showcasing it in the best possible light, showcasing the best angles of the hair, always trying to get the most true color story that's, you know, that's in the hair is important. And of course, I also have a knack and a collection of vintage mannequins, and I do have that as a side passion. So the models that I have for the hair are obviously up to par of the hair too, and it makes a difference in the presentation, I think.
So I do have to ask Sonia, do you design your wigs as well, as far as from the fine hair to the whole head?
Yeah, from the core line, from the manufactured line, I selected we have 8 styles that were originally launched in 9 colors, and it launched with 5 colors, then it grew to 9 colors, and now we have Disco Down, which is available in 14 colors, and we have an additional style, which is Tony Classic, which was supposed to be part of the original launch, and when we got It's a New Tony, it looked different than how Tony Classic was supposed to look. But we launched it because it was a gorgeous product, and now we have nine styles, and we have so many colors, and all of the selection process as far as the density. I made sure that all the hair was weighed. The product that I produced and showcased as the examples, everything was used as the template, and of course, having the ability from the factory to create it as you wanted, I was able to do specifications as far as having the extra large wig cap, which associates with our community, making it more comfortable, not having that pull back feel, or always feel like everything's coming off when it's something store bought, or people that sew it on the machines where it gets very constricted, and you also have that pull back feel, and you feel like stuff is slipping. So those kind of things were really important in the production process of the hair, and so I was hands-on with everything.
I'll tell you, you are just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to and both of you, of course, but like, you just know your stuff, girl. And that is,
I love what I do. I love what I do. They say that when you love what you do, you're never working any day. And that's what I feel like every day when I wake up, because I love being creative. I love the production of it, but I was always into the hair. I always loved the way it looked. So I always, like, as much as I can learn about the products, I always try to take the next step on it.
So I'm going to get to Chris too, because I want to chit chat a little bit more about the designs and stuff of your jewelry. But I'd have to ask you, Sonia, if I'm allowed to ask, because I know every piece of hair that you put out is amazing. Do you have a favorite?
Disco Down is our #1 seller. It definitely, from the moment that I first, even before I first sewed it up in the hand sewn line, there was a predecessor to it, and I was obsessed before I knew how to sew. My girlfriend that taught me how to sew, I probably took her about 7 of them to sew, like 7 different colors in the predecessor. So that obviously showed how much I loved the style and how it fit on. It really like flattered most face frames. So it was like a no-brainer that it was a great style. And finally, the person sat me down and they said, listen, I'm going to teach you how to sew this hair, because I am not sewing this hair anymore. It was like the 7th color I took to them. So Disco Down is definitely my favorite, and it's our #1 seller in the manufactured line. And I still do it in the hand sewn line as well for additional colors that come in tonalities that we don't have in the core line.
Yeah. So Chris, so when you started doing the jewelry, do you find that your design is different now than it is when you started?
Yes. Yeah. So when I started, I mean, I just used like a bunch of big stones. I would just kind of solder in that joint and that was it. And now, you know, I do a lot of wrapping with rhinestone chain and just, you know, more intricate, smaller stones. The more smaller stones I can put in a piece, the more it's going to shine on stage. So I think that that's really kind of where I started, was just chunky big stones, and then just kind of
kept going from there.
Yeah.
I have to say, and digressing back to the both of you being so polished and just so labor of love with your products, watching your videos that you put out, because I was even saying to you when we were talking about, you know, working on the pins and stuff, I was like, I want to make a cool, fun little commercial, which I'm still going to do, but because I'm just trying to get that vibe for myself too. But your videos are amazing. Do you do them yourself?
So no, I have someone that helps with that. Aaron, he's amazing at social media. He used to work for the Dream, the women's basketball team.
Yep.
And all of their social media. And when he started to help in that aspect, it really kind of took everything to a different level. And so, you know, I'm from a place where phones and things, like, I'm just not big on that kind of stuff. So having someone that specializes in that, it really changes the game, you know, and I didn't realize that until recently.
So do you feel like, because I actually know of your brand before you signing on with MGA, do you feel things have shifted for you more so now that since you signed on with MGA?
Yes. So for MGA has always been a pageant. I wanted to run in it myself. And I've always I've loved it. Just, you know, from ever hearing about drag. And to me, as a millennial, it's like, you know, that was my drag race, is America.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that was like one of those that was set in the very top. And so yeah, I mean, I knew it was big. I didn't know though that there were all of these city pageants and state pageants and, you know, all the stuff that would come along with it and how many there were.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, I knew it was going to be great, but I was like, oh, you know, it'll be 2 big crowns a year. You know, no. It's
operation. It
so
is.
It's like Aaliyah's Closet, and then that's a business too.
Yeah.
So it was a little overwhelming in the very beginning, but it's amazing. It's a dream of mine for sure.
So I'm going to ask a very basic question just for the viewers at home as well. Is Aaliyah's Closet just jewelry, or is there other things that you can purchase on your website?
So we do jewelry, and then we do breastplates too.
Okay.
That's kind of actually started in breastplates and then added the jewelry second.
So I have to ask, so with the breastplates, is that something that you created and designed yourself, or is that something that you look at the products and you're like, this is a good style, this is good quality, I want to represent it as my brand?
Yeah, so my husband actually built the mold and pours the breastplates, and I cut the back at the very end and add the snaps. Okay. And I look at them and make sure it looks good before I put it in the box. So you know, he's a big part of that. Honestly, I don't think Aaliyah's Closet would really exist if it wasn't for him, because I had all these crazy ideas, but there was no direction. And so like,
you were dreaming big, baby. You were dreaming big.
Yes. And so, I mean, I definitely, it would not exist. And so he built my website platform, you know, he took my dream and then said, okay, now we're going to put a structure to it.
Yeah.
And so, without them, nothing.
I've never worn a breastplate, but I'm so intrigued. And I think I'm more intrigued now because of the labor of love that your partner has done, making them like, that's cool. Like,
yeah. And it's like what Sonia was saying about the a different head size, like making it to where it's comfortable. It's like there are a lot of cheaper options that are on the market, but a lot of them are like sitting too far in on the chest on my customers, and it just wasn't fitting them like it should, and it wasn't as comfortable as it should be. And so we made a lot of different changes, based, and because I've worn it and I've experienced it myself. So but yeah, my husband definitely helped out with all of that.
So do you have a million molds at your house right now, ready for operation?
I do, yes. And they actually have lasted several years. They're made out of fiberglass. So
everything. That's cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. So we are going to continue to dish about your both your product lines and such, but I really want to kind of get a little more personal, if that's okay. Sonia, so for the both of you, but let's start with Sonia, if that's okay. What do you like to do for fun besides work really hard and make tons and tons of money from your amazing business brands?
We love traveling. Me and my husband are always, traveling somewhere new. We try to incorporate obviously the business into it, but it's always great to have new destinations that we've seen. And it's when you see, especially in different countries and abroad, you see different ways of life. It's something that really you're able to bring back home with you, because we both lived in New York for the longest time, and we were so used to the hustle and bustle. And when I moved down here before Chris came down, it was just such a breather, to be able to travel, but be able to come home and unwind. So the best part about what we do is just being able to run a business that we can run it from anywhere that we go. So just traveling is the best part.
Love that.
We're always taking little breathers everywhere.
Yeah. When you say New York, do you mean is it Manhattan that you were in, or?
Oh yeah. He lived in Chelsea and I lived right in Times Square. I literally, on New Year's Eve, I went out on the fire escape and we watched, the ball drop on one side, and then we turn around and watch the fire escape, and then Chris started screaming at me to get back inside. Somebody was going to shoot me. And I was like, that's just happening.
I was just in Manhattan this past weekend with my partner, and we were able to go to Central Park. Never been there before. It's so surreal.
Yeah.
And viewers out there, and Chris, it's fabulous to check out, because you're in the hustle and bustle is where my brain went. And then I was able to go to Liberty Bagels. They're not paying me for this. I got my big bag. I ate it in the Central Park. It was just really cool and magical. So I totally get. And I also love the idea of like being able to go to that. Okay, we're gonna go to a nice quiet place, which I didn't think there was one in Manhattan until I stepped foot on Central Park. So Sonia, where's one of the most like stand out to you favorite places that you visited as far as a relaxing vacation? Not work.
We actually during the Continental Reign going to Maui, we're actually blessed and lucky enough to be able to see all the parts of Old Lahaina and in Maui, and it was amazing. It was so beautiful, and unfortunately, a couple of months afterwards is when the big fire hit, and a lot of the places that we saw, even the luau that we sat and we were in, were gone. So I felt so blessed that we actually got to see that. And the other most beautiful place that we have seen on our journeys is when we went to Amsterdam, and that was also during this Continental. We went for Queen of the North, the prelim in Amsterdam. It was in Rotterdam, but we started in Amsterdam, and it was just breathtaking. I mean, like, basically the whole city is on a river, and everybody rides bikes everywhere. They actually tell you to be careful with the bikes because people just get run over all the time there's so many bikes. There's more bikes than there are people in Amsterdam. But the city itself is so, when they say, Europe and romance cities and everything, walking the streets of Amsterdam were some of the most beautiful memories that I can ever think of. Just how gorgeous the cobblestone streets and the architecture that was around you, and of course seeing the river, with all the boathouses right on the river. People just live in their boathouses.
Yeah, they have a couple light districts too. We don't talk about.
Yeah, we didn't do that. Actually, funny story about Amsterdam. So I get up early and we have coffee every day. When we are ready in the studio and everything. And so we get up early, and Europe is different than America. Everything doesn't wake up as early, and every shop isn't open as early. So we normally get up at 7:38. We already have our cup of coffee and we're in the studio by 8:30. So we go out to get coffee, and the only coffee shop that was open was actually a pot shop. But it's called a coffee shop in Amsterdam. So I'm walking in there and I'm like, they're like, well, what would you like? And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. So they actually have you pick like what kind of brew it is? I had no idea. And finally Chris goes, babe, this is a pot shop. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we gotta go.
Yeah. They actually, because I was there, I don't want to say a long time ago. And if you wanted to purchase the marijuana, you had to buy a coffee, I believe. Like it was like you had to purchase to get your purchase, is what they had. Well, at least
It was just funny because it was called a coffee shop. And so I thought it was a coffee shop. When it's a coffee shop here, it means that. But it was like a dispensary here, but it was called a coffee shop. So I'm like, okay.
Well, you were surprised when you got that coffee, my darling. I'm sure.
We found coffee, not that. We found coffee.
How long have you been with your partner for?
I have actually known my husband. I've known him since I've known him for 26 years. And when I met him, I told him, I said, we're going to get married. I said, you're the love of my life and we're going to get married. And he said, oh, okay. And he wasn't in the same space that I was, obviously. But I've known him for 27 years and we've been married now for a year, but we've been best friends now since I was 24, 25.
So how did you two meet?
On the internet. We met on AOL. Good old school way, back in the day. Yeah, that's how it was back in the day. Just met people on AOL and, the chat rooms, and you got to know people, and then you ended up meeting them in person. Years later, I met him, and, it was on.
That's true. Yeah. I know that. And 25 years later, you got married, correct? Is what you were saying? You've been only married.
He's been down here now for probably about 4 years. So we've been back together again, and we've been married now for a year. So we got married last year. We just celebrated our 1st year anniversary.
Fabulous. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's just you two are so in sync. I remember really fully meeting you two at DryCon in Los Angeles, and just the two of you were just so in sync with each other. It's just so effortless, and it's just cool to see. So,
well, that's what happens when you've known somebody your whole life. There's no hiding that. It's like it's your other half. They know everything about you. So you kind of like, yeah.
Well, fabulous. So, Chris, you have your partner. Is it your partner you have? And then, everyone's married. What's going on?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. We've been together for 16 years. Yeah, 16 years. And Sunny and I, like, we have a lot in common, I think. Like, a lot of times I see her on a vacation and she's like sewing hair, like in the play. That was me, like always. Like I would bring it, but people don't understand is like I don't even watch TV. Like that is my And I thrive on working. I love it. I guess I'm a workaholic, but that is my therapy.
And so, and it could be just yeses for both of you. So when Sonia, hair is your main job, and Chris, jewelry is your main job right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I know you're busy. You both are doing your thing.
Yeah.
So Chris, how did you meet your husband?
Oh God. So let's see. I think I was 8. Yeah, I was 18. And one of my friends was going out. I knew that, I had school the next day, college, and I wasn't old enough to get in the place. And so he was like, hey, do you mind if I bring a friend back by that I met out? And I said, oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So my husband then is out in my living room. And so I come out and say hello. I think I went to get a glass of water or something. I don't know. And I saw him and I started hanging out with them. Next thing you know, we were watching movies all together. And then that was it.
That's fabulous. That is so cool. And then so from 18 on.
Yeah. And so my friend brought him over there to be his trade. And then I ended up still in the trade. So we were like bitter about it for 6 months. And
I love that though. But I love what I love about both your stories is that the longevity of your relationships is there, and that's just amazing. My parents are high school sweethearts. Like I have a picture of them holding hands at their gym in their gymnasium thing and in their yearbook, and it's just really that's things I aspire to have. Is just that longevity of relationship, especially at a younger age too. So hats off to both of you and congratulations. Okay, so let's talk about business again because I'm enjoying I hope you're able to keep up with me. I'm a little bit bopping around. I'm enjoying just kind of being a little scattered with the both of you because you both are fabulous and you have some interesting stories. But I want to go a little more business because I want to talk about your branding as far as I've received products from both of you, and just the way that both of you send your products is just amazing. Like the presentation of
Thank you.
So I would love for both of you to talk about that a little bit. Sonia, I always love to do my ladies first. Do you want to talk a little bit about your inspiration on how you send out your hair, as well as, has it changed since you started or?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much been the same since it started. Even with the manufactured line, when it was added, I was presented different things that I could present with the box and the tissue and the this and the that. And I said, listen, the basis of the line is drag hair on the go. I want something that somebody can take it, put it in the bag, put it in their suitcase, and go. That's the idea of it. That's the basis of it. So I've always kept with that branding. And of course, I include, resources like the website on there. And I also include a wide tooth comb in with the purchase so that you can maintain your product, just encouraging people to maintain and take care of what they have, and that'll make it last longer. But the basis of the packaging is just very simple. It is intended for the purpose of throwing it in a suitcase and going. And the hair, if you treat it well, it lasts a very long time. I have pieces that I've had 15 years from when I started sewing, like for myself.
So I noticed that, so your logo is behind you. Is there any inspo for your logo? Because the sun, obviously.
Obviously, we have the sun and my favorite colors in there. So I have yellow and it has orange in there, and Delight Designs hair. It was pretty easy, and if you can remember my name, you'll remember my company.
Hello.
And then also with the products, so they all are kind of like two parts, like Delight Designs. Then it's Coney Ponies for the ponytails, and then you get Upsy Doozies for the updos, and so all that stuff is kind of like it's kind of kitschy, but it's the same. So you get kind of that same consistent feeling throughout, so you're not like one thing doesn't make sense with the other.
Sure. You may have mentioned it earlier in the conversation, but where did Sunny Delight come from? The name Sunny Delight.
I loved, my favorite color was yellow, and so I always dressed in the beginning when I started my career. It was always yellow and orange. So I was a club kid when I started, and I was bright and happy, and I loved sunshine, and I loved everything about being the light in the room. So I kind of stuck with me.
I love it. Well, and also I look at because the spelling of the name is a little bit, delight. So is that just something you were like, I'm gonna just be fabulous and fierce, and as you are, and you just delight?
Oh, thank you. No, but it was Delight. I'm a '90s baby, and Delight the group came out in the mid '90s, and I said, oh, I like that. That worked for me. And she had kind of a whole, Lady Miss Kier, which is actually commented on some of my stuff, which always like have my, fangirl moment, since it, started with that name. That's kind of where I got the spelling, with the hyphen in between it. They have the extra E in it. Mm-hmm. And so I did my Delight differently.
I love that you get fangirly, because you are an icon when it comes to at least the queer community and with wigs and stuff. So hearing you saying you get, fangirling, that's fabulous. Like, because you're an icon. You've definitely paved the way. You've definitely created an awesome brand.
It's silly to me. Thank you. I just did like what I thought I needed, and it turned out to be something that other people needed. And I never really thought of it as like I was doing anything. It was just like, I had to, you don't even realize it. And then years down the line, you're like, oh, I did this. Oh, I kind of changed this. Oh, I changed the way that this was done, or I added a new style to something. And that was never something that was intended. It was just, I watched myself on tape or whatever, and saw, ooh, that doesn't look that good on me. And then I changed the way that I did it. And then people were like, oh my God, why is she doing that like that? And I'm like, I don't know. The other one didn't look good on me. So that was it, you know.
Fabulous, fabulous. So Chris, let's talk about your and I just recently received my fabulous Anchor of Excellence Gay America pin, which is amazing. I love the detail is actually incredible, and I know that the camera's not doing it justice because it is fully sparkly. It is just the detail is really cool, and what I love, and I'll just give a little shout out to the brand, is that it's plated. It's like real it's like metal.
Gold, yeah, gold. Plate.
And it's really sturdy and strong, which I love. That's what I want. And it's sturdy and strong, but it's also lightweight. So it's not just flopping down. So I just wanted to give you a shout out on the pin, but I would love to hear about the design of the box, which I love, but I'm going to let you take the reins on it.
Yeah. So Aaron designed this particular box, but I had boxes before, and I just knew, you know, me growing up, I always carried like a space maker and put my jewelry in that, and you know, it was the same kind of size box. And so I wanted something with my brand on it to, you know, if you're in a dressing room, a lot of queens don't like to tell other girls where they got their stuff. And so with my box, it really wasn't an option, because like I guess the girl would go on stage or whatever and she'd be like, oh, okay, now I know. And so it was just kind of like a box, a hard box, so it'll last.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, you know, your brand is in everyone's faces then. So that's always good. And then for my breastplates, I put them in a drawstring bag, and with the logo on there. And so before that, girls would carry it around in a pillowcase, their breastplates. And so I was like, well, let's, you know, do something a little bit classier than a pillowcase. Yeah, I mean, so that you can just draw it up, throw it in your bag, and go.
Do you the material, because we're definitely going to talk about products. So the material of the breastplate, is it silicone? Is it?
Yeah, it's silicone, and then the standard ones come like they're kind of like filled with air, really. So it's like really like there's nothing sitting there. And then we also do gel fill that's filled with silicone gel. So it's like it's honestly like the same thing that's in like a sex doll or a sex toy. And yeah.
Why the different? Like, what's the difference for that? Is it just lightweight, and some are more like that for the feel of the?
Like some of my customers are entertainers, drag queens. Some of my customers cross dress, and you know, they want a different feel. And it's just I have all different types of customers that use the product for all kinds of things that we probably can't even go into on here.
Not on here.
I'm like, you cannot put it in the dishwasher. No.
Okay.
But yeah, so a lot of times it would be just as simple as someone wants to feel the weight.
Sure.
They want to feel that the feel.
So I do want to just go back to the jewelry box as well, because what I literally fell off my chair when I got the box. One, because it has your brand, and I agree, like when someone's taking it somewhere, boop, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
But what was really smart, and I had to tell my partner, was can you see this right here? There's a mirror in there.
Yes.
And I mean, just because I'm a little detective within myself, I was like, why would there be a mirror in that box? And it made sense, because if you're putting on the jewelry, you have to see what it looks like on you to make sure it's on right, or see that you're putting it on correctly.
Yeah, it was just another opportunity. You know, I think us as queens, we love mirrors. We like to look at ourselves constantly. So especially when we're like done in drag. I can't get out of the mirror when I'm in drag. Yeah. So I was like, oh, another opportunity for a mirror. And you know, it's kind of evolved. So I'm actually thinking about putting something about like you're beautiful or something on the inside. Just so when someone opens it, it's just like you see yourself and you just remind them, You know,
you should do different affirmations, like come up with like 10 of them. And then
Yep.
so it's a surprise for the next purchase of what your affirmation is.
yeah, I love that. It's just, you
I'll
know,
take 10% of the, I'll take 10%. Thank you. No, but that's amazing. It's just both of you just attention to detail. I love it. I love. And it's just very high end class for the both of you I'm speaking of. And hats off for just, it's that labor of love. I mean, it's just like my podcast. It's my labor of love. And, you know, when you really are passionate about something, you just put your full energy towards it and just hope for the best and hope it catches on. So
Yep.
I love that.
With Sunny, you know, doing the live shows, I've done them before. And it's like, you know, a lot of times people are just like, oh, they're just in front of the camera, whatever. Like there's so much work that goes behind that. And it's just like, when you're done, you're exhausted.
My husband used to say that all the time, that it was a 6 or 7 hour ordeal between prepping, setting up, and the breakdown. And people don't realize that, you know, for the 20 to 25 minutes that you're on the air doing that live feed, it takes 3 hours of preparation before there, setting up the studio, getting everything ready, making sure, never mind the work beforehand, you know, as you're preparing and actually making the product. But then when you're done, when you're done, it's time to break down with the hair. You have to make sure you put it back the right way, and that you put back the care that you put into the product when you made it, so that when you pull it out again, it still has the same, you know, look to it that it originally was intended to have.
Yes.
So all of that is, it takes time.
Yes. And that's why I respect you so much. As like, it's commitment. It just shows, you know, so much commitment with her and her business. And I know, because I've done that. And it's, you know, and just for you getting ready, just, you know, just getting done, you know, is just
actually the worst part was what could happen on the camera. Because,
sure.
You know, with the earrings and the jewelry, you know, you're putting them on, you're taking them off, whatever, you know, if it doesn't work out, whatever, the rest of it. When you're putting on the hair, I mean, I had instances, all kinds of things happened, like, you know, with the garment that I had on, or with the hair going on, and I was like literally taking it off and putting it, and people are like, she makes it look so effortless. Everything's so easy. I'm like, it is easy, but like I had to like really be terrified for the first couple of times that I did it. I was like, this can go very, very wrong, you know. And I had one time, and it was here in this studio, where I'm changing wigs and I swallowed a hair. I swallowed a hair and my throat started closing. I've never experienced anything. I had to stop the live feed and I had to come back like 20 minutes later. Literally, my throat closed up because I swallowed a hair from the wig.
You just pulled that baby right out, or was it all the way down?
It was, well, I mean, obviously I had to like take it out and everything, but at first I didn't realize that my throat was actually closing from it, that it was actually in there. And so I'm not, and then I was like, okay, I'll be right back.
But you know what? But you went with it and you came right back and you continued on with the show, right? And
yeah, the show must go on.
The show must go on. Every hair and all, honey. Every hair and all
the time.
So I can't even believe that we're already at that 50, like 10 minutes till we're done, but we're not. If you're okay chit-chatting a little longer, because I could chat with the two of you. I knew I was gonna enjoy chatting with the both of you. So can we digress a little bit back into like the earlier years again? Because Sonia, you talked about being a club kid. What was that like? May you please, because there's some generations that might be watching that might not even know what a club kid is. Can you maybe describe what that is and kind of talk about what that was like for you growing up?
The South Beach scene and the club kid scene when I was growing up was very, people had their own identities, their own personalities. It wasn't the norm of what you see drag as. So inspired by such characters as Divine from the 70s, and then, on to the 80s. But people had such personality, and people in South Beach especially, it was so campy. There was a lot of camp drag, and people just came up with their own personalities and their own kind of numbers that they did. I had people friends that threw stuff on the audience, like during the number, like just making a mess on stage. And that's still like a live art form, like that still exists and people do it. But that was how I was introduced kind of to drag, and I loved it. And then I was introduced to like pageantry, and I saw Miss Continental, and that changed my life again, because I saw a different form of art, and I identified that was how I was. Really, like I never felt like I was in the right body. And then when I saw tapes like Miss Continental and saw Mimi Marks and Monica Monroe and Cezanne and Candace Kane and Erica Andrews and all these people, saw them, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I can be just like that because that's who I feel like. And they became my celebrities. I said it in an interview one year at Continental, and I won an interview that year. And it was really when I started to transition and started to grow up in this community, they were my celebrities. So as a kid, people have Madonna and Michael Jackson, and those people were their celebrities. Well, to me, watching the Tandy Andrews, the Dana Douglases, the Tiffany Arriagas, all those people were my celebrities. And I could only hope that one day I could reach the status of any of those beautiful women. And that's what I built my career on.
Well, you're definitely paving your way. And I'll give you the accolade that you deserve. So I have to ask, so you've competed for Continental. How many times did you compete to capture the crown?
6 times.
6 times.
6 times. Yeah. It was the first national pageant that I did, and I knew I wanted to be Continental, and I worked at myself. Then I left Continental because I wanted to perfect myself as best I could, and then came back in the next step in myself with other national titles in between, just excelling at what I wanted to do. And then when I finally did become, it's the most cliche thing that people say, like after they win, they said you win when it's your time, but I really did win when it was my time. I never could have reigned as I did if I would have won any of the other years. Sure. That was my year to reign. And not only was I able to live every moment that I ever wanted to live as Miss Continental, I was recognized as being Miss Continental Forever with Jim Flynn. And basically a title that says I'm Continental Forever because it was what I wanted my whole career. And to get that accolade for myself was one of the greatest things I've ever had in my career.
I'm going to ask you a pageant question just because I know you can handle it. So as a forever, what is your legacy that you want to live on within the Continental system?
The legacy that I want to leave behind is don't ever put a limit on yourself. A lot of people in this community tend to put themselves in a box as far as what they can do and what they can create and what they can move on to in life. And the people that have moved our community forward and that have broken down those doors and those barricades in our community have kept pushing that envelope. So my legacy is to never feel like you have been marked in a box. Make sure that you always keep pushing to get to that next level, because somebody's got to do it, and your passion can take you there. It definitely can.
And you just won interview. Thank you. I love your love you so much. Chris, are you going to compete for Miss Gay America one day?
It could be. It could be.
Just throwing it out in the universe.
Yeah. I worked with Drag Race for a while, and like towards the very beginning.
Okay.
And I was putting in tapes and everything, and one of the producers or the lady that we were working with for advertisement, she really couldn't give me an answer on whether I would be able to be on the show. And so, I wouldn't want it to be like a conflict of interest, or, you know, to look like that, you know, I'm
Sure.
affiliated, when it's like, at the end of the day, I make the crown. So,
Sure.
you know, and it's as simple as that. But yeah, I mean, definitely that's like that would be something possibly.
Have you competed for a pageant before?
I have, yeah, I did like a run of pageants back in, I think 2017. I was doing them like back to back, like I had the bug, and I would always win presentation and then lose the pageant. But yeah, I mean, what I did learn is that you can have, you know, funds to put to a pageant. You can have the best gown there is, but if you don't have the experience of the motions of the pageant, and you know, it's a formula that you have to learn, and it's something that I did not learn, you know, quick, and so it's something that you have to practice. Sometimes people do win them the first time, but you know, it's rare. And I do think that it is something that you have to kind of understand the flow and the formula to you kind of figure out, okay, like this is the key for the door, and then you can turn it. But yeah, I feel like as somebody now, like in their 30s, I'm more equipped to handle that than I was in my 20s.
Sure.
Like my head is just more together.
Sure.
Than I was. I thought I was so sickening. And it's
like, you are sickening. You are sickening.
But it's like, you know, you sometimes I was very like late to bloom, and so you know, you think you're one thing in your head, but really like you have a little bit of growing to do.
Sure.
So definitely.
I do have to ask you, did you say, so you did videos for Drag Race, or did you do jewelry for Drag Race, or both?
Yeah, so I was like a sponsor for Drag Race, so they would win like a gift certificate to Aaliyah's Closet.
Okay.
They would use breastplates and challenges and things like that. And you know, Drag Race got a lot bigger, and then their sponsors are like Delta, and you know, it's just kind of all the little ones, all of us, you know, smaller businesses. It's not really like that much anymore. But yeah, it was a awesome experience. And I did the breastplates for AJ and the Queen. I made RuPaul's custom breastplate for that show, and all of that. So that was pretty cool to see RuPaul in something that I made.
And that's what that was my next question for the both of you, because Sonia, I know everybody wears your wigs, girl. But so what does it feel like that now products that you're putting out are on national television, and products that you're putting out the people that are in the view of everyone's eyes are wearing your stuff? What does that feel like? And you're kind of touching upon that now, Chris, but you know, that's got to be such a cool feeling. Rewarding, I guess, is the better way to say it.
Yeah, it feels nuts. It feels nuts when you see it. I remember I was stepping down at a pageant, and it was after COVID, and I was at Heart of Florida, and I was stepping down as Heart of Florida, and somebody who's huge in the community that we all admire and has had many national title holders under his belt, Reggie Hobbs, comes up to me and he goes, "Well, how does it feel?" And I said, "What do you mean, how does it feel?" And he goes, "Have you looked around the room? Everyone's wearing your hair." And it was like, it hadn't even dawned on me, but to hear it from him, it really, like, it took me aback. It was one of the most impactful moments where I was like, so it is pretty cool. Like when you see it on TV, when you see it on the people, or like when you just see everybody in the dressing room, and it's hard to believe, because it was just something that I did because I needed it at the time, and it turned into a business. Like, you don't expect that when you start.
Yeah. And look where the both of you are at with your labor. And I'll continue to say it, labor of love, because that's the authenticness of your love is showcasing it throughout your products. And you have your support systems, and you have the people that are helping you out. And it's just really cool. So, okay. So now we're going to get a little more businessy. So Chris, I'll start with you. So do you make every piece of jewelry that goes out, or do you also have a little team that you've helped create the designs and you oversee some of it as well? Because now that you're getting a little bit bigger, you know, your workload's getting a little bit wilder.
Yeah. So me, like it's my husband and I that are able to make jewelry. And then Aaron does like he can set stones in the setting and stuff like that. But as far as making the jewelry, it's just the two of us.
So, and do you have your own little like do you have I shouldn't say little but do you have a studio? Do you work from your home?
Yes. So I work from home, and basically half of my basement is that.
Wow.
And you know, recently I'm like by myself. My husband started like a home, we flip homes as well. And so he's kind of been gone, and so I've been literally alone making all this stuff. And so I'm like, let me move my table like by the window or something like that, where I'm not, you know, I need to see something or talk to someone. So you know, I think it will be a point where I probably need to find an employee or someone, you know, just I could really just talk to during the day, because it gets kind of intense. I mean, people think it's so awesome to be able to just work from home and stuff, but it can kind of get depressing if you're just there by yourself.
Sonia, do you feel the same way? Because your business is your business at home, or do you have a
well, we have a 3-bedroom condo, and we have one of the rooms is the studio, the hair studio. Chris, my husband, runs basically the website and handles all the web end of it. So basically we're together in the studio the whole day. I'm sewing hair. He's, you know, reaching out to me or telling me, you know, reading me off emails. Wow. And I'm answering him back and addressing everything with all the clients. So he handles all of the web stuff, and I handle the hands-on for the hair. And it's awesome. Like for me, the problem for me in the beginning was not working all the time, but through getting the balance, once Chris was actually here all the time, and it wasn't it wasn't just me by myself like it was in the beginning when we launched the website, when he got here and all this stuff that grew the business. It took us to a different level, but I was working so many hours, and now it's like we don't ever have a day that we really have off. We're always doing something that has to do with work, but it's definitely not morning to night in the studio working. You know, it's like if I feel like today is a 2:00 day, then it's a 2:00 day. If I feel like it's a 5:00 day, then it's a 5:00 day. You know, I'm usually in the studio by 8:39. I get the best sunlight for sewing, and that's when I start working. And you know, after lunch, depending on the mood of the day or how the sun is going or whatever, that'll make a difference as far as, you know, which way the day's workload is going.
So this is a question for the both of you, because I'm curious, because as a performer and doing things like stoning costumes and doing the projects that I do, you have something always in the background. Either it's me watching The Real Housewives or listening to some music. So what is your escape while you're creating? Is there something that you put on TV, or is there music that you listen to, or do you do it in silence?
I usually have Spotify on, so based on what I'm sewing, like if it's a character wig I'm doing, I do like to listen to the character while I'm doing it. And my husband laughs at me. He's like, "That makes you sew the character better." I'm like, so all of a sudden Dolly's on. He's like, "Oh no, she's sewing a Dolly wig, isn't she?" Because he hears the Dolly playing and 9 to 5 is on. But I feel like it helps. So usually that's what's on Spotify. I don't watch things while I sew, because I find that when you get distracted by looking at things, that's when things take a turn for the worst. So music, yes. TV, no.
Okay. Chris, how about you? What do you do? What's your
exact Spotify? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Did you know that Let's Get Down to Excellence is now on Spotify? I'm just throwing it out there because I'm trying to like tiptoe into that kind of podcast Spotify moment. So just giving myself a little shout out. So if you're bored, it's only 2 half-hour ones right now, but it's enough to do maybe a sew or a piece of jewelry.
There you go.
So. Well, now during COVID, like all the craziness and stuff, it was the news 24/7. Like I was like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But, you know, ever since then, I don't watch anything. It'll take my mind off of it. It's either silence or or Spotify.
I live. Sonia, do you wake up looking as gorgeous as you do, or is this a moment that you're just sharing with us? Because you are always, every time I see you, you are looking
Well, thank you. Thank you. No, I just wanted to showcase product. That was all. I don't wake up looking like this. My husband always laughs at my ponytail's like sideways when I wake up. I sleep with my hair in a top knot, and then it's like all like crazy, and my hair's like coming down on the side. And yeah.
Well, you both are amazing. I adore you both. And I know we spilled over a little bit. And I think what I would love to do, if it's okay, and Sonia, like I say, I always do love to do ladies first, but is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to let the viewers at home know, more so about yourself, but also your products as well? But yeah, more so yourself, because I feel like this is an opportunity for people that, I feel like everyone knows who Sonia Delight is, as well as Christopher as well. But, is there anything that we haven't talked about that makes you you?
No, I mean, we covered all the bases, my love, my pageantry love, my husband love, my, business love. And that's me in a nutshell. You get all parts of that all in one. And hopefully I'm allowed to continue to be in everybody's life, how I've been this time, and be embraced the way I have been. So I'm thankful for every day of it.
Yeah. And you're very, and just for those out there that when I got to meet you, thankfully for the first time, and you were very approachable and you're easy to talk to, which is amazing. So encourage those out there, if they want to come say hi to you, maybe chat about some wigs, or just to kind of kibitz with you, because you're just a lovely human being. So Christopher, you're just as lovely as well. I just haven't met you in person yet, and I cannot wait to meet you, because we're going to have a good old time. But is there anything that you want to share about yourself that we haven't talked about?
Well, I forgot. I totally neglected my kids, so I forgot to talk about my kids. But I have 2 4-year-old twins. I have a picture, so that's them. I don't know if you can see.
Babies.
But that was Oliver and Brandon. So yeah, they're like my life now. So
at their current, I'm sorry, how old are they now?
4.
So they keep you busy on top of everything else that you're doing right now. Wow.
So I have to pick them up by like 5:30 from daycare. So I'm like UPS and then get the kids. So I'm like all day.
I have to say, with two 4-year-olds in your household right now, it's kind of quiet where you're at right now.
Oh yeah, they're upstairs in their room, and they behave really well. So they know when I tell them, hey, I've got work to do, they know. So I'm like, and it's great having twins, because it's insane how much they keep each other entertained. So it's awesome. I'm glad that I did that. And then I do have the Gay America Esquire crown.
Yeah.
So we're gonna show that.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yes.
And you know what's fabulous about your products? It looks rich and but it's like, I can tell it's strong, but I bet you it's not as heavy as people think.
Oh yeah. And this one, so when I was talking to the owner about, everything with the jewelry, we we're like plating it in gold. And so I'm like, well, gold has gone up in price. It's very expensive. And I'm like, do you want to try brass? She's like, no, gold. I'm like, all right. So, but you know what? The gold takes everything to a completely different level.
Completely.
Yeah.
It just looks so rich, and you wouldn't think that a metal or a backing would even make a difference, but it really does make the stone look completely different. So gold, and I think America is one of the only systems that uses real gold. So
wow,
pretty cool. It's beautiful.
I can't wait to see it in person. I can't. I mean, I can imagine, because I see this is like a miniature of that. Like, hello.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And the national crown is being plated right now, like currently. So it took me a while. Like, I knew I still wanted it to be like that, it kind of leaned and fanned. So I didn't want to go too far off from what it's been, because America is very like, it needs to be that kind of fan look, but I just like filled it in a little bit more. It's a little fuller. I'm from Georgia, and like all the drag that we do is all huge and big, and so I'm like, let's do it, but like let's make the crown just look like it kind of got a hit with a little silicone or like a
I love that. Well, it's and also just to go back to the videos that I was able to see, which I can't wait to see in person as well. But like just the Miss Gay America. Sorry, I'm losing my word. The crown, and then you have the
scepter.
I was going to say another word, and it was not going to be appropriate at all. Thank you. It's just everything just looks great quality, and Sonia, your stuff is obviously great quality as well, and it lasts forever. There's things that I bought years ago, and it's still in my possession. So I'll be rocking out my Sunny Delight. I think I might rock out my Disco Down in Jessica Red.
Yeah.
I'm a Jessica Red kind of girl. So
yeah, definitely.
So okay. So well, thank you to the both of you for spending time with me and helping my dream come true and my labor of love for Let's Get Down to Excellence. And I appreciate your time and just being open with me and sharing yourselves to the viewers at home. And in true Morgan fashion, for the anchor of excellence that I am, I always like to ask my guests to give their meaning of excellence, because excellence is different for everyone. And I always like to hear what it is to you. Sonia, would you like to share with you what your meaning of excellence is?
My meaning of excellence is definitely originality. You can only be yourself. People can try to be you as much as they want to be, but if you always focus on being yourself, that's always the true meaning of excellence. So originality is the true meaning of excellence.
I live. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I just think, excellence is really something that we're all striving for. I don't think that 100% excellence is really ever achieved, but I think that just saying that me personally, I did my very best, I did my excellent best. If it was a pageant, you danced as hard as you could, you stayed up as hard as as long as you could to rehearse. Your dancers danced as hard as they could. You put all the work that you couldn't put into that costume, like literally where you could not do any more. And I feel like that is striving for excellence. And, whenever it comes to Gay America, it's like, who is the most excellent? So definitely.
Sure.
But I feel like that we look for excellence every single day.
Sure. I want to tell you something. Tonight, you didn't just win presentation. You just won question and answer. Sonia, you definitely want to. But there you go, my love. But thank you so much to the both of you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a huge pleasure and an honor to have the both of you with me tonight. So thank you. Usually what I do is I bid everyone adieu on the screen, but tonight is about the both of you. So if you wouldn't mind just saying goodbye to the viewers at home with me, we're going to end this evening. Thank you so much. All right, on the count of three, let's just say goodbye to everybody at home. 1, 2, 3.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.